Giants, brutal loss. Let's move on to the Cowboys and Commanders game.
You don't want to go to the Eagles first?
We could go to the Eagles first.
I want to hear about the Eagles, Danny.
Yeah, okay, let's do this.
He just wants to know. He just wants to know so bad. Okay. Eagles come up with a dub. Of course, we're back in the win column. 28-22. Overall, for me, what I kind of saw was going into it, of course, first thinking about it, seeing that the Vikings were, second overall in passing yards allowed. They were, I think, ranked between either fifth or sixth defense total. There was a bunch of drama. There's been a bunch of questions. Everybody thought the Eagles were kind of sold out, cut out, and reversing one of the good teams in the NFC North. One of the ones that might win it this year. Who knows how that's going to look. But Hurts comes up, starts balling out, throws for 327. A.J. Brown, 4 for 121. What's it called? 2 touchdowns. Smitty ends up coming down with a touchdown. I thought overall great adjustment. I noticed for me watching it, the focus wasn't really Saquon anymore, but you could tell that Flores' main focus was trying to stop Saquon, hence why every single time that dude touched the ball, it's almost like people were just going through 24/7. It did kind of suck because we got Cam Jurgens hurt in the middle of the game. Adoree Jackson got absolutely clobbered, and then concussion protocol. Jeremiah Trotter Jr., and there was one more. Nakobe Dean just came back this game, which was pretty nice.
There was a collision with the corner and a D tackle. I don't know.
Yeah, that was Adoree Jackson. That was Adoree Jackson. No, the last person was Ojulari. Ojulari, that's who got hurt. Yeah, his shoulder. Yeah.
Was he out for the game?
He was out for the game.
Okay, continue.
Yeah, so it was after the botch snap from Wentz, but it looked. I'm not gonna lie, you're 6'5". If it's that high, like that's a bad snap, personally, from a center standpoint. So yeah, Ojulari, when he went to go slide, they said that he jacked up his shoulder, and then he was out for the rest of the game. Overall, to me, I thought it was just a great adjustment. Hurts was handling the blitz very well. He was able to put the ball where it needed to be. Smitty got a lot more action than I've seen in a couple weeks. To me, now it kind of shows that I'm curious, I guess, for me, going in these next couple weeks, our defense is now going to adjust to stopping Hurts, hence opening up the door for a Saquon breakout. And then if Saquon breakout happens, how are you going to be able to – the real question is, like, when it's in that game script of they're focusing Saquon, they're focusing Hurts, now the ability to adjust and switch that, because it seemed as if when they try to stop, or like they were playing more passive, and Saquon wasn't going to be able to have his openings to be able to break out for maybe a 12, a 13, or 14-yard gain. And then they go back to stopping Saquon. It was almost pretty rough for the Eagles to get back to being like, okay, now we got to pass. And being able to adjust on the fly, now for them to adjust takes maybe 2-3 drives for like a deep Saquon bomb, or not Saquon, deep AJ Brown like touchdown, or Smitty coming across the field catching something, or Goddard running his post corner and getting hit, in the middle of like the zones when they're in coverage and everything like that. So that's really the only question and curiosity that I feel. Personally, I do see a big problem with the defense allowing 22 points from Carson Wentz. I'm not trying to dog him. That's been my guy for 4 years. So,
longer.
What?
Wasn't he there longer than that?
No, he was there from 2016 to 2020.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
right. I remember the Dak versus Wentz debates.
I know those were crazy back in the day. Back to that. But what's it called? Like seeing like his pick six, and then you throw a pick the next drive. It's like usually a lot of quarterbacks, a lot of teams, you're basically like kind of done after that. Usually that's kind of where, especially the Eagles, with a situation like that, make the game like a 30-yard or 30-point difference, usually from that point. But it was like they kept staying in the game.
Yeah, I want to actually ask you about that, because I saw the AJ touchdown to start the game. I was like, all right, the Eagles are going to win this game. But then it wasn't really much going on. Then that pick six happened. I'm like, okay, Eagles are going to win this game. But then I checked back with the game later, and my note was that this was kind of before Smitty and AJ kind of once again kind of had their big plays. But I wrote down that Philly had been shut down offensively since that AJ Brown bomb, and they cannot orchestrate drives. So that kind of, I feel like the amount of opportunities you guys gave Wentz and Kevin O'Connell to, reconfigure the offense and come back. We saw Wentz scrambling. That was actually huge. 28 yards on 4 rushes. Those are all first downs, I'm pretty sure. 89 rushing yards from the Vikings and about 313 passing yards out of him. So I think a lot of that has more to do with like the time of possession. They actually dominated 34 to 26. So I think this shines the light to me on like the boom or bust nature of the offense. And I'm going to get to my question in a moment, but I just kind of want to lay out like my thoughts for a moment. But when you talk about how they focus on Saquon, something I remember saying back in 2022 is how when teams would focus on the run game, what do? There's one high safety. Hit A.J. Brown or Smitty. You guys did that today. So I think it's good to see that you guys were doing that. But I want to know kind of where your head was at right before the pick six and then until the Smitty touchdown. Like, what were you thinking about, like, the offense? Were you feeling like, are we going to, like, this feels like last week. Like, we don't really have control of this game.
For me, what it felt like overall was like, because in that play, I still remember like right before AJ scored, that Hurts was in the pocket and then he was ready to start scrambling off rip. But it's almost like he made that gesture with his hands to tell like AJ like to kind of get sent. So kind of to me it was like to start seeing those like gestures all over again of like do this, do that, do this, do that. It's kind of more like they're trying to get the control back. Do I still think they're not ready or have the same chemistry like they did last year? Not even close, relatively. But it's like little sparks of things that I've seen in last year's offense were kind of implemented today, which is where I guess I asked the question. It's like, what makes it happen now? Then where was that weeks 1 through 5? And what made week 6 be like, oh, we're going to start implementing this, we're going to start doing this, we're going to start doing that. It's kind of like, I understand the concept, like you don't want to show your whole playbook before the playoffs, but it's like important moments like that where you're focused on the run game. At that moment, it was a blitz, that play, I do remember, that you're just like, okay, now we're going to pull this. So what did I feel? I felt happy that things came back, but I didn't feel confident. Like right now at this moment
feel
to
sustainable?
Be like, yeah, it doesn't feel right now where they're at right now is that this could be a consistent thing. Okay. It's gonna be in moments in high situations where it's like, for example, no momentum. Like we got the momentum because of that touchdown. But my question is like, if the momentum is shifted, that it's not in our favor, it's like the confidence to be like, oh yeah, we can still come back from this is not there at the moment.
I kind of feel like that's kind of how I see things. I had you guys number 7 last week. I tried not to overreact too much. I don't know where I'm going to put you guys yet, but I think you survived overall. You won the game, but like you said, not really much to really be like super giddy about, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I wanted to answer some of your questions about this week. You were talking about how if you sell out for Barkley and then the passing game's connecting, I think no matter what, that's your formula to beat the Eagles is stopping Barkley and daring Hurts to beat you. But another thing is like the Eagles seem to forget what they pay Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown. It's not like these are two nobodies. Like you guys, we know who they are. It's just how are you not properly able to utilize these guys? We saw, what was it? Someone recently had a ton of targets, but just the target share with those two have been off all year until this game, it appears. And I just think that's the same formula every time for you guys.
Yeah, I agree. I think
it's like we're running consistently for a couple games straight, and then all of a sudden one game we're just like passing like monsters.
Yeah. Yes, I think like I think both teams wanted to lose today, is what it seemed like. Because obviously the Vikings had the 2 turnovers early that put them in the hole, but other than after that, it seemed like a slow bleed from the Eagles team.
I agree.
Like the fact that the Vikings were what less they were. What did they lose by today? 4 or 5 points. That's ridiculous.
I would say it felt like between every single Eagles touchdown, it was like the whole team was drowning, is what it felt like. And then every time they scored a touchdown, it's like, oh my God, we could still do it. You know what I mean? Is that kind of how it was, Dan?
I mean, yeah, for the most part, the amount of times that I probably watched that game defense on both sides of the ball, from an offensive perspective, kind of just yo, how are we not going down the field? But then on the defensive side, being how the hell are we allowing? I'm not saying from the Justin Jefferson or Jordan Addison standpoint, but from Naylor, Hawkinson, Jordan Mason, I don't know how. Yeah, it went scrambling like crazy. I'm how are we allowing all this ish to happen, kind of thing? So it was
and with Carter.
Yeah.
To add to that too, it seemed to me just. The only reason the Eagles won today was just the ineptitude from the Vikings, offense, how broken that offense was. Because if you guys played an actual offense, you guys lose that game. But they just couldn't do anything on offense. And to follow that up, I wanted to ask you, what was it like seeing Carson Wentz again on the field against the Eagles?
It was interesting. Honestly, it was very. Different kind of perspective. Of course, seeing him the way he was, seeing him scramble the way he did really did give me what's that called? Deja vu? Yeah, deja vu in a sense of oh shit, man, that he used to do that he used to do that shit all the freaking time, you know what I mean? But it also kind of it was a little sad too, because there were plays, for example, when there were plays that he was throwing that I'm bro, back in the day, you made that shit. What are we doing here? Kind of thing. Either overselling. He oversold Naylor 4 times.
Jefferson.
He had an easy. He had an easy screen pass. He had an easy screen pass to the left, or an easy out route to the left to Jordan Addison, that most likely would have been a touchdown because it was Makuba was the only defender out there, and he completely missed him. He overthrew Jefferson. He gave a good ball, but Cooper DeJean ended up blocking it like a freaking monster. But then he also had a play where he was throwing a screen to Mason, but he threw it behind him and it ended up being a loss of yardage. And of course, that's a momentum killer overall as a team. So it's to me that to see the errors that he was making was pretty sad. I can't lie, because it's you could tell overall from a football, a mental football standpoint, it's pretty dramatic getting you have your team, who they drafted you, they loved you, you won a Super Bowl, but you didn't win the Super Bowl. You get kicked out, you go somewhere else, you sell against the last game to bring the Colts to the playoffs against the Jaguars. They kick you out, then you go to the Commanders. Then they get Sam Howell? Huh?
I forgot he was on the Commanders.
Yeah, he went to the Commanders. Then they got Sam Howell, kicked him out again.
Chiefs.
Then he went to the Chiefs, back on Mahomes with Andy Reid.
Broncos.
Got destroyed.
And now we're here.
And now we're at this moment.
And speaking of this moment,
I thought was he on the Rams at one point?
Maybe. I don't know if he did much. Could have been. I think he might have been.
I thought he was for a little bit.
All right. Joey, I want to know what you think